Imagine waking up on an ordinary day and realizing that nothing will ever be the same. The alarm rings, you have your coffee, brush your teeth, and suddenly, you find yourself in a place you don't recognize, where every moment seems to last forever. What if I told you that the hell you know may never have existed? That the image of eternal pain was shaped by translations and interpretations over centuries? Today, we're going to discover what the scriptures really say about hell, unraveling words, metaphors, and truths that completely change the way you think about justice, punishment, and eternity. Get ready to see what the Bible truly teaches, and to question everything you've learned so far. You've probably heard that everyone goes to hell or heaven immediately after death, but the truth is very different. In the original texts, the word hell simply does not exist. In the Old Testament, what we find is Sheol, the place of the dead, a state of waiting, where there is no consciousness, no pain, no joy. Everyone, good or bad, rests there, while life continues for the living. In the New Testament, Greek brought the term Hades, which is basically the same idea. It is not a map of torment. It is a temporary space, a pause before the final judgment. Even famous passages like the story of Lazarus and the rich man are parables, metaphors meant to teach, not to describe celestial geography. Then comes Gehenna, the term closest to what we imagine as hell, but it is also a concrete image, the Valley of Hinnom, outside Jerusalem, where trash and sacrifice remains were burned. Jesus uses this metaphor to show complete and irrevocable destruction, not endless conscious suffering. The unending fire represents total annihilation, not eternal torment. Tartarus, in turn, is the prison of fallen angels, another layer that has been confused over time with human punishment. A mistaken translation merged Sheol, Hades, Gehenna, and Tartarus into a single word, hell, and that is where the fear that has spanned centuries begins. But don't be mistaken, judgment is just and proportional. The New Testament makes it clear that not everyone receives the same penalty. There is a difference between the servant who knew God's will and the one who did not. There is a difference between conscious actions and ignorance. What exists is a definitive consequence, not identical eternal pain for all. Each term, each metaphor, and each passage connect to reveal a surprisingly coherent concept. Death is interruption, destruction is final, and divine justice is proportional, not arbitrary. And it is precisely this truth that we will explore next, because understanding what the Bible really says about hell changes the way we see life, justice, and eternity. But here comes the shock. Everything you believed about hell, eternal fire, endless conscious suffering, is, in fact, a distorted interpretation. The Bible does not describe souls burning for all eternity. It speaks of definitive consequences, of separation from God's presence, of the second death, annihilation, not endless torture. Imagine the absurdity. The popular idea suggests that a chicken thief would suffer eternally alongside tyrants and murderers, as if punishment were blind and equal for all. The logic of the biblical text is different. Judgment is proportional to choices, awareness, and personal responsibility. The turning point is here. Hell, as many know it, does not exist today. What exists is Sheol, Hades, Gehenna, temporary states, metaphors of destruction and future justice, not continuous torment scenarios. This perception changes everything. The fear that sustained generations, the terror that shaped cultures and religions, is based on a misunderstanding that transforms mercy and justice into eternal cruelty. And now comes the question we will explore in depth. If hell is not what we thought, what truly awaits the wicked after death? It is here that the Bible reveals the deepest and, at the same time, most just dimension of divine judgment. After understanding that eternal hell as we imagine it does not exist, we need to dive into the true structure of judgment according to the scriptures. The Bible shows that, after death, everyone goes to Sheol or Hades, a state of rest, of waiting, without consciousness of suffering or pleasure. There are no souls screaming eternally. It is an intermediate period until the universal resurrection, when every person will be called to life to be judged by God. It is at this moment that divine justice manifests fully. The righteous receive eternal life, a reward that transcends any human understanding. The wicked face the second death. It is not infinite torture but total destruction, definitive separation from existence, an irrevocable end, proportional to their choices, actions, and understanding of God's will. Texts like Revelation and Luke reinforce this perspective. The lake of fire, the smoke that has no rest, and the fire that is not quenched, are metaphors of complete destruction, not endless conscious suffering. The language is symbolic, pedagogical, designed to convey gravity, not eternal torment, and the deepest truth. The Bible distinguishes between those who know God's will and those who do not. The penalty is proportional, just, and not the same for everyone. There is no cosmic injustice. No one will be punished arbitrarily or excessively. Every action, every choice, will have an appropriate consequence. Even passages that seem to indicate infinite suffering, like Sodom and Gomorrah or the Edomites consumed by fire, show historical results. Complete and irreversible destruction, not continuous conscious suffering. Fire is the image of annihilation, the inevitable consequence of sin, not a torment that prolongs forever. This understanding radically changes how we perceive justice, mercy, and final judgment. Hell is not a place of eternal horror. It is a symbol that choices have consequences, that separation from God is definitive for those who reject salvation. And it is precisely this nuance, between proportional justice and distorted fear, that we will reflect on next, connecting the teaching of the Scriptures to our lives and the way we perceive morality, responsibility, and destiny. Now stop and reflect. For decades you have lived under the fear of a hell that, as we have seen, may never have existed as you imagined. This changes the way we face our choices. What truly matters is not fleeing eternal torment, but understanding that every action has definitive consequences, that justice is proportional, and that separation from God is not continuous punishment, but an irrevocable end. Think about your life, the decisions you make every day. Awareness that there is responsibility and consequence gives a new weight to your actions, but also opens space for hope, understanding, and transformation. It is not the terror of eternal fire that should guide you, but the knowledge that your choices shape your destiny. The reflection here is personal. How have you lived in light of the truth about justice, mercy, and responsibility? What we learn about hell is not just a theological curiosity. It is an invitation to live with purpose, integrity, and attention to the decisions that define not only the present, but also the future of your soul. What we learn today is clear. Hell as conscious, eternal fire, is an idea shaped by interpretations, not by the essence of the Scriptures. What really exists is justice, consequence, and the second death, definitive separation from God for those who reject salvation. This changes everything. It is not fear that should guide your choices, but the awareness that every action has weight and every decision defines destiny. The final reflection is simple but profound. Living with purpose and responsibility is not about avoiding torment. It is about embracing life with integrity, knowing that justice is real and proportional. And now the question remains, are you ready to face the truth about your choices and about what truly matters for your eternity? If this video made you rethink what you always believed about hell and divine justice, why not take the next step? Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss content that challenges the way we see life and eternity. If you know someone who needs to hear this message, share it with them. Sometimes a new perspective can change everything. Thank you for watching until the end. Keep reflecting, questioning, and seeking the truth sincerely.